Welcome to Sound Values, powered in part by LSA Burger and Classic of Denton. The views and opinions expressed by the show hosts and their guests are those of the show host and guests, and not necessarily those of the sponsors, DentonRadio.com, or the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau. For more information, visit the policies and procedures. Welcome to Sound Values, powered in part by LSA Burger and Classic of Denton. The views and opinions expressed by the show hosts and their guests are those of the show host and guests, and not necessarily those of the sponsors, DentonRadio.com, or the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau. For more information, visit the policies and procedures page at DentonRadio.com.
Thank you for tuning in live tonight on DentonRadio.com. We are broadcasting out of the Discover Denton Welcome Center, and Happy New Year's Eve. It's New Year's Eve, y'all. It's December 31st. I'm happy to have y'all with me here tonight, and gracing us with his presence is the homie, the myth, the master, the legend of the SP404. We've got the homie Mosivito in the house right now. Good to have you here, man.
Yeah,
first time on the show. You know?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, man. Thanks for making the drive. I know it's an hour about,
the
traffic. You're about to fall
much an
asleep
hour.
here, that cold weather. So I'm glad you made it here. All right, man.
Yeah, me too.
You know, that's what matters. So, man, great to have you on. Tonight we're going to talk beats. We're going to talk the process of your beat making. We're also going to talk about your new tape or album, whatever people want to call it these days. And what's the name of this?
It's called Funny.
Okay.
It's spelled F-U-N-I.
Okay.
I was like, fun and with an I. I was like, funny. All right. Shit.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to be talking about and listening to the new tape, EP. What do you call it? Is it the tape? Is the EP? Is it an album? What are we classifying it as?
I say album just because it's easier that way. It's a general term. Yeah. I was like, whatever.
So you got 5 tracks on this, man. I'm pretty excited.
I got 7.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
what am I seeing?
man.
Oh, wait. Here it is. My bad. I was looking at your other things. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, yes, there's the 7. That's my bad. Yeah, 7 songs. Came out December 13th, man, and I started bumping it right away. Really, really liked it. It's definitely got the lo-fi, just very crisp, clean, good quality.
Yeah,
it's good stuff, man. It's funny to call something lo-fi when it's not supposed to be high quality, but it still sounds good.
I was like, I wasn't sure how to do it. It's like, if it's too dirty, I can't hear it, and I don't like it.
Yeah. So when you started, like for you, for some people making an EP or an album, it's like they start and they're like, I'm gonna start making an album, and then they finish 5 songs and they're like, okay, this is my album. How do you go about making an album?
Usually it's not planned. I've tried to do that before, and it's just never worked. I'll try to think of it as an album, but they end up sounding so different. It's like I'll just release them separately.
Okay.
But for this one, actually, a friend was looking for music for a project for school.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I was already working on some other stuff just because I wanted to do stuff like for the month and try to separate them by the month.
Okay.
Because I have been unorganized. Yeah. So, yeah, I grabbed all those 7 songs, probably touched them up a little bit more, and then packaged them and sent them out to the friend.
Nice. Very cool. Very cool. So how did you decide on those 7? Do you just have this big folder and you clicking through, or how do we decide on those 7?
Yeah, I was clicking through. Like we had met the day before, and I was just going through like different stuff, and the person was all like, hey, I like this one. I like that one too,
Yeah.
So
what's the project that they were working on that you were kind of like picking these beats out for?
It was actually some kind of like biography or something.
Okay.
About me, actually. I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy.
Nice. So someone made made a little documentary about Luis, and it's got Luis's music over it.
Right.
That's cool. All right. And then where did the artwork come from? Because the artwork is high quality, man.
Oh, thank you.
I really like that.
Yeah. The window is part of something, some picture I got from somewhere.
Okay.
And I think that picture is from Russia or something like that.
Okay.
I'm not too sure. So then I was like, I like that window. I'm gonna cut it out,
Because the cover has like a journal quality, with like the little white bullets that are going down the side. Y'all can take a look at this on Spotify. Just type in Mosivito, Mosivito, and you'll find Funny FUNI just released, and you can see what I'm talking about, right there.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your beat making process, man, you know, you obviously, you know, you make a lot of beats. I hear different stuff from you all the time. How do you kind of start when you start working on something?
How do I start? I usually try to think about something or like some TV show or a person, the type of music they would show me, and then kind of break down like the music that's going on, whatever media I'm listening to or watching. I was just like, okay, I'll just start here, like maybe a piano or a synth. Sometimes, some other times I start with drums, but usually the ones that start with drums don't really go anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah,
Why do you think that is?
Because I'm just too busy worrying about the drums.
Yeah. So it's better to start with like the melodies and stuff like that.
Yeah, for me it is.
Yeah. So you're saying like you think about a person and or like something that somebody else would show you, you know, or like, you know, so you kind of like, you know, so for you, is it like you're sitting there and then you're like, okay, cool, I kind of want to make something that I think this person would like, or maybe this person would like, or is it more along the lines of like, this song reminds me of this person, you know, like you're kind of embodying like the individual themselves in the music?
Yeah, I try to embody the person at least to some extent. Then, or I just take a little piece of it and then.
Do people know this? Do people know that you have songs that are based around them?
Oh no, this would be the first time anybody would know, but I won't tell them which one it is.
Gotta remain a mystery. I like it, man. I like it. That's high quality. Well, man, I want to actually get a beat playing from this tape real quick. And so the first one we're gonna listen to is Trees. I really like this one. We'll turn it up a little bit.
Yeah, cool.
And so can you kind of walk me through this beat a little bit while we're listening to it?
This one, I was just going through different synths and all that. I was like, I want something pretty cool, something weird. So then I forgot what plugin I used for this one, but it's one I don't use.
Okay.
And I was just going through presets and I found that. I was like, cool.
Okay, so you played these keys.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
yeah. And so, like, for people who don't know, if you say a preset, usually, like, that's, you know, you're not using a sound. It's like a pre-made synth.
Yeah.
Inside of whatever VST you're using.
Yeah, like someone took the time and twisted all the virtual knobs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then packaged them for us to use.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. So as we said, and that's what I mean, man. Is I really enjoy the percussion is very crisp.
Yeah, I didn't really do too much at all. Just probably a compressor, just to like keep it together, to squish it together.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else did I do? I think I added some saturation, like on the very back end.
And so did you start with that synth, you know, that very beginning, and you know, was that like, are your beats for you kind of like, okay, like you start playing and you're like, we'll scrap that, and then you go to another one. So this was just one of those that you happen to like and kept going with?
No, it was actually the first one you said. Like I liked part of it.
Okay.
And all that. Like all the top end stuff, like none of the bottom is all the stuff I did first.
Okay.
So then I went back. I did another one, allergy tablets, which comes right after this one. Then I was like, it needs a low end like allergy tablets.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Nice, because you can hear that little bit of low end bass. And it's really well mixed. You know, just kind of sitting back there, just tantalizing right there.
Yeah.
It's right there in the ear, man. I can feel it. And what do you make your beats on? Do you use do you make strictly on the SP, or do you use a software?
I actually haven't been using my SP because the wires that I would hook up to everything was actually I was loaning it from a friend who was just also let me an MPC as well. Unfortunately, I didn't use the MPC as much as I wanted to.
Okay.
I mean, I did some stuff on it, and I forgot what happened to it.
Yeah. And so did you make, what did you use to craft this track right now?
Just that software, Ableton.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Ableton
and then,
Live.
Yep. And then, like, I had a little MIDI controller, which is like the Kai. It's the 25 key one. It's like, it's a great starter.
Yeah. That's pretty much all you need.
Yeah.
And that's what's amazing, man, especially about, you know, just everything is, you know, and that's why, like, when you look at Ableton, the price it's expensive. Like, it's not a cheap program to get the full suite, you know, $900+.
Yep.
But once you get it, you have thousands of instruments at your fingertips, you know?
Yeah.
And but there's one thing that I've kind of always wondered about it is, like, you could buy the basic Ableton, you know, I think it's like you can, and you can even buy like a light version of it for like $99, but you can put up to 16 tracks on there, and then it stops at that point. I think the next one up is like 150 or whatever, and then you get like operator. There's certain levels.
Right.
Of it. What I've wondered is if you bought the basic Ableton and then you did some research and you found VSTs, like, oh, what's a great, keyboard and piano type VST? What's a great synth VST? And then buying those VSTs, could you in a way build a library that would be cheaper, but you would still have the Ableton interface to do all your work in?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's like...
I've thought about that. I haven't ever put it together, though. Price it all out.
See, I actually wish I would have did that before. That way I would have learned to limit myself, because in some of the tracks that I haven't really shown anybody are like maybe 60 for no reason.
60 tracks? Like, across the mix?
Right.
Oh, man, that's a lot.
Right, it is.
Yeah.
And that's just for like hip hop stuff. Like when I first started out, when I got Ableton and all that, I knew friends who did EDM and all that.
Okay.
And they use like 200.
Yeah, huge amounts of layers in order to create these massive sounds, because you're panning all the time.
Right. So
so
I would say if you're like an EDM person and you want to go like all out, go for like the most expensive Ableton.
Yeah. What's great too though is like, and I'll tell you on my plug, on Zounds, you can go and do payment plans on everything. So, like, let's say you can't afford $1,000 right then and there. And let's face it, not many people can afford dropping $1,000 on, software, unless you're, and if you're good enough, then you probably don't even have to drop $1,000 on it. Ableton's probably like, hey, we'll sponsor you, here you go. Or something of those sorts. You get it through your teaching or whatever, somehow like that.
Yeah.
But it's an awesome program, man. Have you ever used anything else besides Ableton Live?
Yes, I have. I've used, like, my very first one was GarageBand off of my mom's computer.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. And that's when I didn't even think about making beats. I wasn't really into the drums. I was more into guitar, because I was doing guitar and all that.
Yeah, exactly. So how did you kind of start to work your way towards making beats? Like growing up, were you listening to any kind of beat music, or how did you kind of discover this?
I was getting sick of the guitar. I was like, okay, I'm getting burned out right now. I was like, let me try the actual drums. And then my dad would recommend me like some music that he liked and all that. So like, and then eventually I found stuff like Slick Rick, and then he would show me like Wu-Tang and all that.
Okay.
I was like, okay, cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
So then I got into the phase of like only boom bap. Only
boom bap.
Yeah. So, and then at that point I realized, like a couple years when I was like maybe in 5th grade or something like that, my uncle gave me his old laptop, which has an Logic Express 8, and that's maybe about 10 years old now.
Okay. All right.
And then I made some of my first boom bap type of beats on there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So did you just, because if you're in the 5th grade when you're doing this, like even 10 years ago, there wasn't a lot, 2009, 2010, there still wasn't a whole lot of YouTube material out there, even at that time. A lot of the videos weren't the highest quality, and they took like forever for the guy to get to the explanation, of how to do something. So how did you kind of go about learning how to do that, especially in the 5th grade, man? Like I was still learning how to like put on my socks properly.
I'll just clarify. I was playing the guitar up to like 5th grade until like sophomore year.
Okay.
I only started beats after I graduated.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So what was kind of like, when did you first start? Wait, hold on. We got to listen to this one because I love this one. So this track right here, this is Aruma?
Yeah.
Aruma. Nice, man.
Or like, if you want to roll the R's, Aruma.
Aruma. See, I like that more. This I need like I don't know if you put accents or inyaes over R's. I don't think you do.
No.
But
I tried to do it on there, but it just didn't let me do it. I was like,
That's not
whatever.
right. And so how did you go about, I'm getting messages. How did you go about, is this kind of sampled and some original stuff, or like those violins in the background?
Really? I only added drums.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So what is this original sample, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know. I just know in the name is the name Aruma.
That's
So
awesome, man.
that might be the original composer or something.
All right. I'm gonna have to do some research. I want to hear the original beat, man, or the original track. I'm always interested in hearing, like, even, I've made so much sampled music, anyways. Like, so I'm a big fan of that type of stuff. And so, like what was some of the first beat music that you heard? You know, because you were playing the guitar and then you started making
Yeah.
beats a little bit later after you graduated. But what was some of like what was
see.
some of the first beat music that you were listening to that you can kind of remember?
Like the strictly instrumental stuff.
yeah,
and all
yeah,
that?
stuff
Okay.
that's more kind of like even that you would where you'd hear now. You know?
Yeah. Let me see.
Some of the first instrumental stuff you were listening to.
New Jabba's.
New Job S.
Yeah.
Of course, man, he's fantastic.
Right. And then
So good.
Jay Dilla, of course.
Yep,
Yeah.
both of them. Rest in peace, man. It's so
I
sad.
know,
It's
right?
so
It's
sad.
crazy.
Those are big ones. Was there anybody else that you can think of? You know.
There's this guy who'd make these videos on YouTube on like how to make beats. His name is Jay Filt.
Okay.
So that's what really helped me out for a little bit and all that.
Nice. Where did he do Ableton tutorials?
No, it's just like more concept tutorials and all that.
Oh, okay.
Like he has an NPC and he would like just like kind of like structure it around the NPC.
Okay.
Maybe have a little 4/4 here and all
Okay.
that. But
Cool.
it helped
more
me
like
out.
song structure, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
And-
How to take an idea and make it a whole song.
Right. Like he
Yeah.
would show like concepts that Jay Dilla did, like switching between
Oh wait.
like time signatures
I think
and all
I've
that.
seen one of his videos how he like humanized his NPC. Is that dude? He's got like a
Yeah.
turntable in his NPC. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All right, I'm gonna go home and watch that tonight.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet, but I'm always like, I should watch that. I should watch that. Well, man, technically it's New Year's Eve when people
Yeah,
are watching this right
yeah.
now.
So right
So you got anything coming in the new year? You got anything coming in 2020? Like, you got any big plans? Any new music aspirations? What are your resolutions?
I would want to scrounge together something else of whatever didn't make funny
Okay.
and make
nice.
it something else.
Mhm.
It's December 13th right now, and I'm working on something called Shoku right now.
Okay.
And I tried like Google Translate. I was like, okay, what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
I saw I think it means eat or food. I was like, okay, cool.
Nice.
I said, I'll do that. I like that.
It's just like the one-word titles, man.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Keep it simple.
Mhm.
So when it comes to like your artistic tastes, how do you, what would you say is your taste in music, in art? It's, how would you label it?
Honestly, I don't think that's ever an easy question for someone to answer.
That's why I ask it.
Yeah.
Put them on the hot seat.
Yeah.
If you were going to, if someone was going to ask, Luis, how do you describe your music? How do you describe it? Can you put it in a genre? What do you say?
I mean, lo-fi hip-hop.
Yeah. And so, I mean, if somebody doesn't know, this is what I always ask. If someone doesn't know what lo-fi hip-hop is, doesn't know what chill hop is, how do you explain it to them?
Cool drums with elevator music. Yeah.
That's perfect, man.
Or like stuff you can fall asleep to.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool drums with elevator music. Music you can fall asleep to.
Yeah, because before like the funny came out for everybody to listen to, I was listening to it back and forth in my car, going back to school and all that. I was falling asleep sometimes. I was like, damn, this
It
works.
is pretty dreamy. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like this one right here. I mean, first off, this song gets me every time. I love this one.
Yeah. Right.
It's simple, but it's just, it's right where it needs to be. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So how do you keep from making things overly complicated? How do you kind of tell yourself, okay, this is enough?
I've done so many other ones where I did overthink, so I was like half brain dead, half tired. So then that's how I was able to make something like that.
Yeah, you're like, I'm just gonna stop right here. This is
Yeah.
enough. This is enough. Yeah, because you're so tired. You're just like, okay, we've made it. Now I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
But see, then I would wake up the next day and be like, okay, maybe I can add something else to it. Though.
Yeah.
So how do you have the discipline? Do you say anything to yourself, or you like, I'm not gonna?
I try to show my friends and be like, hey, is this too much or no?
Okay.
So,
nice.
Because I gotta have second opinion on most things. Like even when I'm like recently, like when I'm texting a girl, I gotta ask my mom. I was like, hey, is this enough or not? I'm like, oh god. Bro.
Dude, you got to go to moms for advice sometimes,
I know.
man. It's not a bad idea at all,
Right.
man. Yeah, it's a
And
good
then
move.
if I don't like the advice, I'll ask like some female friends. I was like,
Yeah.
or my cousins if that
Mhm.
helps. I don't.
Yeah.
My cousins haven't been helping. Yeah.
So does anybody in your family make music? Anybody else a musician?
My uncle.
Okay. What does he do?
honestly don't keep up with him with all the music stuff.
You just know he does something.
Yeah, like he plays guitar. Like,
Okay.
he has. He's doing something with some of his friends right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's had like a little band with them, and I really haven't asked him any questions about that.
You need to hit up.
Yeah,
Uncle and
I
ask
should.
about this.
Yeah.
So, man, with all the musical genres out there, with all the different types of music people can choose to make, what do you think drew you to hip hop or boom bap and lo-fi hip hop?
It was accessible, and it was, for me, it was like easier for people to get their head around and like and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, 'cause to me, hip hop is like just a hot pot of just like different genres with behind a drum and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I could agree with that. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you can, I mean, you have jazz that's sampled, you have funk that's sampled, you have
Yeah.
rock that's sampled, blues. I mean, and then you can blend all that. I mean, that's kind of how I used to describe it to people, like, because I was like, it's like funk, but with a hip hop beat, and people are like, what's your
Yeah.
music like? I'm like, funky, but with this hip hop kind of beat, it's consistent. It's not, there's not a lot of like breakdowns and stuff. It doesn't sound
Yeah.
like a band, is what I would say
Yeah.
too. I'm like, you can kind of tell that it's made in a computer. That's how it's like designed. It's designed to be a groove, So, with it, what do you mean by it being accessible? What do you mean by that?
Like for younger kids and all that, 'cause like when I was younger, I didn't listen to like all this classical and all that, or even like R&B, like of my own choice. Like the only reason I like would listen to stuff like that, 'cause my parents would be like, we like listen to this, so you're just gonna listen to it.
Okay, yeah. When do you feel like you started to develop your own musical taste? How old were you?
Shoot, I can tell you like when I explored outside of whatever my family would listen to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When do you start to?
That was like my sophomore year,
Mm-hmm.
and it was actually because my friend showed me the rapper Logic. I was like, cool. I don't know what he's saying, but I like the beats behind it.
So you were drawn to more of the beats rather than the words, like that themselves.
Because honestly, that was the problem for me with hip hop music. I couldn't really understand what they were saying because they were saying so fast. I was like, I gotta look it up. Let me look up the lyrics.
Yeah. Oh, now this makes a lot more sense to me.
does.
A lot more sense. So, have you ever worked with any rappers? Being somebody who makes instrumental music.
Some of my friends would try to get on it. I'm just like,
Nah.
yeah. I'm like, I'm terrible to work with if you're trying to be like some vocal person on my stuff, because I already have this idea of like, oh, I just want to do stuff. I have like whenever I'm making beats, I have no idea of someone else is gonna be on this,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's like a sample.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But even then, it's like I'm manipulating that sample too.
Yeah, and you heard it. Like that's a very good thing, because like when you're making it, you're sitting there, you're working on a song, and then that idea just pops into your head. You're like, oh, wait a minute, what if or you might have some acapellas, and you start sourcing through those acapellas, but you're the one who's choosing. It's not your friend or somebody sitting down and writing and then expressing themselves, because like you yourself, like I always heard somebody said like making beats for rappers is kind of like being the pitcher at the home run derby. You're trying to give them exactly what they want right down the middle so they can knock it out, hopefully knock it out of the park. As where when you're a producer, I don't really have another sports analogy for when you're making music by yourself, but I don't know, maybe you could say like you're playing golf. You're out there doing it for you're just out there, trying to make a hole in one because you want to make a hole in one, not for anybody else. I don't know if that analogy works whatsoever. I gotta hit up Mercy. He's the analogy guy.
Yeah.
He's
for
always
real.
got them.
Yeah.
Do you find that like it can take time to like find like how? I guess here's the question: how many beats would you say make it through to the finished product out of 100? Let's say you made 100 beats. How many of them are gonna make it all the way through to like final master, finished, all done product?
Let's say like 7.
7?
Yeah, probably.
I know, man, and that is the truth, man. I think mine's very similar too. How do you battle the I guess like hearing the song too much as you're working on it? Do you take breaks? What do you do?
I just completely stopped. And I just go to the TV. It's like, all right, I'm gonna watch this now.
Yeah, take an hour plus
Yeah.
break, just get out of there, out of that headspace.
Or even maybe like a week at the most.
You take a week away sometimes?
Yeah.
Nice.
Cause like I might get busy with work or something, and it's just like.
Mhm.
It's like, no, I don't feel like doing it today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to take that time, man. I'm kind of addicted to it, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But you are, and I mean, especially now I'm a little bit busier, with the family life and stuff. So it just kind of like happens, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't make beats today. I didn't even open my computer today.
Yeah.
All
I'll be
right,
like,
cool.
what the hell?
But then 3 days go by, and you are right. You get back and you go and you listen to the mix, and you're like, oh, dude, that's a lot better. Your ears are fresh.
Yeah.
You haven't heard it 1,000 times. You're not, your frequency mindset's not all messed up.
Right.
So yeah, it's a good idea to take that time away. And so let's discuss too, man, because like you and I kind of got to know each other through just a random, like you just started coming to Breakfast and Beats, I think.
Yeah, it was really because of Mercy. I went to a show of his out in Deep Ellum.
Okay.
At Deep Ellum Marco.
Mm-hmm.
I was with a friend, and he was like, all right, man, you got to talk to somebody because you don't do too much talking at all. I was like,
I
And
know.
then-
I brought the guy who doesn't talk very much on for an interview, but that's cool.
yeah, pretty much.
No,
yeah.
no, we're going to get the answers we
Yeah.
need. Yeah, so you met Mercy at that show. I remember him telling me, he's like, yeah, we met this dude, went over to his place, his mom ordered some pizza.
Oh,
Like, we were just making
yeah.
beats.
Yeah, like my parents are just like very welcoming. Like they don't want to intrude, but they'll just like do nice things like behind your back. I was like, okay.
The nicest, yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
how, they just do really nice things behind your back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
just happy surprises.
I know.
dude.
Like
Yeah, that's
sometimes
awesome.
I come out of my room and I'll see pizzas like, when did we get this? No one told me.
Just a box of chocolates at your front door. Just
Right.
like for Luis, from Dad.
Yeah.
Dad, what are these for? I don't know. I saw them and I just thought maybe you'd like some chocolates.
Yeah.
Well, we've kind of and that's what I mean is what's great about the album is we just had a whole conversation. We've been talking over it, and it's great chill music.
Yep.
Like let's go ahead because one of my favorites on here is it Ryu R-Y-U or Ryu?
Ryu.
Ryu. Okay.
Yeah. It's actually short. I didn't base it off of the Street Fighter character.
Okay. So now is this you on the keys or is this a sample?
Nah, this is the guy whose name this is.
Oh, okay.
It's also the seventh song, Saka, is also his last name, just shortened.
Is he is it the Japanese pianist?
Yeah, I told Ryuichi Sakamoto.
Yeah, man, he's awesome.
Yeah,
His
he
stuff's
is.
good. I'm pretty sure I sampled he redid oh man, what is it? Pure Imagination, the Willy Wonka song. He made a
that's
piano
cool.
version of that, and I sampled that. It was the first track I put out of 2019 called
Yeah.
Happy Times, and so I sampled that. Yeah, he's awesome, dude. I love his
Yeah.
stuff, man. How do you go about kind of finding your samples? Or like when do you know, or not how do you find them, but how do you? Because we all have our different ways, but how do you pick it? How are you like that? That's the piece. That's the part.
Well, first I get an idea. It's like, what do I want to sample? It's like piano, guitar, or just like a band in general.
Okay. Yeah.
So like when I was making that, I was listening to like Joe Hisaishi. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy who does all the Studio Ghibli music.
Okay. Nice.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, all right, I want to look at some other Japanese composers and all that.
Mhm.
So then I ran into this guy on YouTube. I was like, oh, cool, this is cool.
Nice.
Like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna do something.
Yeah, man, I love those chops right there, and then
Yeah.
the use of that, that higher piano right there. And that's the thing about sampling too, is it can be, and it's not just because I like to do it, but in general, sampling is kind of like an interesting art form because you hear something and you're like, ooh, I can do something with that, 16 bar piece, and I can like make it an entirely different thing. So. And that's what's so cool about it is it introduces you to so much new music that you never hear before.
Yeah.
And a lot of time you end up listening to the artist, not just sampling them, but you listen to it anyways. 'Cause this is great.
Like I say the producer who really affected me is like just looking at the music itself was new job is.
Okay, yeah.
Cause in one of his songs he uses like I did the same thing he did where he just takes like the whole sample and just puts drums behind it and all that. It was I forgot what song it was, but he used like some Spanish composer who was using the Spanish guitar. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the thing too is, it's kind of like, hey, if me and this guy would have been hanging out, I would have played these drums over it. That's kind of what I used to say too, is like when you sample, because sometimes you'll sample pieces of music that have drums on it, and then you kind of put a little sidechain compression to duck the drums and have yours over the top. That's producer jargon right there. But sometimes you find pieces that are just, that you can sample really nicely that don't have any drums on them. And I love when you can do that. You take a piece that had no drums on it, the original composer didn't think about doing that with it, and then you kind of take it and flip it, as we say in the business.
It's easier to do that, but I think the coolest part is like when you just make the drums sound better that already exists.
Mm-hmm.
That.
Yeah, and so when you kind of or when you're chopping this all up, do you ever kind of take it? I guess you don't anymore, actually, because you said you're not using your MP or your SP.
Yeah.
Because I wonder, did you ever you'd make a track and then put it on the SP and maybe add effects, do some extra stuff, and then export it back out?
I've always thought about doing that, but then I haven't. Yeah.
I've thought about it, but no.
Yeah.
No. Oh, man, that's what's up, dude. But, so, yeah, and then this one right here, too, Saka. And it blends really well. Like, the album mixes really well.
It's still part of the same sample I got it from for
nice.
review.
You just chopped it up differently.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, one thing that I like to do, and people, if you don't notice that, I'm about to tell you, is that you can set your crossfader on Spotify to where it'll crossfade into the next song 12 seconds before the other song ends, so it goes together. It actually makes it great for when, for this kind of music right here, it blends together. It also works really well when you're a DJ and you're in a pinch, and you're like, I just got to plug this in real quick because you don't have a certain request, and you can just blend it into the next track and then go from there. It works great. Yeah. But, yeah, man, every track kind of blends into itself. Now, did you piece it together that way, or did it just kind of happen? I know you went through and picked out a whole bunch of songs, but when you were, would be nice after this.
Yeah. So I picked I just kind of threw it together, and I was like, okay, this kind of works. Let me just move them around real quick, like move one or two, and then go back in and kind of tweak it a little bit so that way it does give that transition space into it. Or but the one for allergy tablets, which is the second one, I did not save that project, or I did, just a version of it where that doesn't sound as good as the one that is on there.
Oh, okay. Allergy tablets. Let's bump it right now.
Yeah. The thing was to have it reverse into what was it called? I forgot what it's called. The next one, whatever the next one is.
Okay. The next one, so is gonna go from trees.
No.
We got to go to the funny.
Yeah.
Aruma.
Aruma. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah.
So what it was originally going to go trees, Aruma, and then allergy tablets, and you changed that?
No, it's saying the very end of allergy tablets was supposed to smoothly transition into Aruma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then I had to change up Aruma to that way it would make up for it.
Nice. Okay, so then it blends well. So you were making these almost to where if you go and you were going to perform these tracks.
Yeah, all I had to do is press play.
Yeah, and then they blend together.
Uh-huh.
Or you can use, that's, if you had an Ableton live set, you can blend it real well using different effects in Ableton, just going right into it. Or like I said, if somebody has their crossfader, on Spotify, made it so that it goes over earlier, it just feels like one continuous mix. Nice, man.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you ever, have you ever thought about making a concept album where it's all kind of based on the same idea? You're kind of like we did with Foliage, you're supposed to embody this idea of the four, your interpretation of that.
Yeah. That's actually what I'm trying to do Shoku with, since I found out it means eating or food, whatever it means. That's what the internet told me. I was
so
we
were gonna make an album about eating or dedicated to food? Which one? Both?
Both, probably. Yeah.
I've got the cover for this is interesting that I have in my mind. It's very 1980s food court that I have in my head right now for this.
Oh,
for the
cool,
name of the
man.
next one.
I was thinking just something simple like a plate and a fork, and that's it. Because I like to eat with only a fork, and maybe
just a fork.
Yeah.
What you never have things that need to be cut, so there's no knives involved.
Only if it's a steak or something.
Well,
if it's
what's the normal dinner for Mosivito like? Because if you don't use a knife, it's got to be finger foods and noodles. and veggies
Sure.
that aren't too big.
We like to have chicken and all that.
How do you slice your chicken? Is it brought to you?
Just
Oh,
cut
you
it.
just that's
Yeah.
some tender.
Yeah. And actually, it's not tender.
It
I
just
just-
takes you time. You just
Yeah, it
push
just takes
through.
me time. Yeah.
Oh man, that's hilarious. All right, well, I'm feeling that. So, what was interesting is that you, like you said, your buddies are like, you don't talk very much, but
Yeah.
you showing out all the time. And so I don't think was the first time you played at Stellapalooza when you were able to fill in? You had played Breakfast and Beats before that, right? Before over the summer. Remember when you just happened to have your stuff in your car and we needed somebody to cover at the beginning?
No, that was like maybe my second or third time. My first time, I think, was actually on my birthday.
Oh, okay.
It was in March.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. And whenever so now you've played with us at a few different places, man. J&J's and Golden Boy Coffee. And
Yep.
so when you first started playing, were you nervous at all? And has it kind of relaxed a bit more?
Yeah, I was nervous pretty much. I was like, okay, because I would forget like what songs I have on there on the little SP.
Yeah.
Because their numbers and all that, but it's not new enough to where it tells you like it has a little screen saying, oh, this song is on here.
Yeah, this is the name of this song. Yeah. Yeah, that's hard to. That is that was like what Mercy would say too, because when he first started, he was bringing this SP.
Yeah.
And then he saw me using Ableton, and he was like, "Oh my, yeah." And same with Daily Breed. He was like, "I need this too. Like, why do I not have this program?"
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Mercy is probably the best person to do a mix on a single SP I've ever seen. Like his stuff blends so
I was
well.
like, how do you do? How in the world do you do this?
Yeah. I don't know how he does it either. I've never worked with an SP404 or anything because anything if there's not a computer screen in me, it's really interesting to me how people use it and like make beats on it.
Yeah, it's still difficult for me.
Yeah, it's like a small computer type thing.
Yeah, and you gotta look at it's got like I forgot what it is, but it looks like a clock, but it's missing one number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's like when you see it, you really don't have any idea what it is unless you know what it's not like you can be like, oh, that's a guitar. Everybody
Right.
knows what a guitar is. I'd never heard of an SP404 before like lo-fi hip hop started to get popular. I'd never
Yeah.
seen one before. I had friends who used them who were in bands, like for the effects, like they would route their guitar through it or their vocals.
Cool.
Yeah, I knew someone who used it for video somehow. They could I don't know, dude. People are crazy out there, man.
Yeah,
But yeah, they're
man.
super versatile. And do you have yours with you?
Yeah, I do.
Dude, bust that bad boy out.
Yeah,
Just so
will.
people can know, this is what an SP404 looks like that Luis is going to bust out right here. And this is kind of like one of the main piece of equipment that people use. Boom, right there. This is the SX, all right? And so so basically you have your volume right here. You have your different controls, different types of filters you can choose from.
Yep,
And then
and-
there's all these buttons that I have no idea what there's even a lo-fi button. No
Yep.
wonder.
So it just really changes the sample rate. It doesn't really make it like that smooth lo-fi. It's more
okay,
like
yeah.
changes. I think it's called the bit rate, so it sound like a little more
Grainy.
like digital. And
Okay.
all that.
All right.
Like that digital cut. And all
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Now, what is like voice trans? Like,
Voice trans.
you ever even use that?
I've used it a couple times. It didn't sound great, like
Okay.
it just beats itself.
Mm-hmm.
But you could like plug in a microphone through this one.
Okay.
And it sounds great on that.
Okay.
Yeah, to
Nice.
do that.
Okay, so you can run a mic through here and then you could put effects on the mic and all
Yep.
that kind of stuff. Nice, man. So, I feel like when they first created these things, it was not. They never thought like, oh, somebody's going to use this to make hip hop beats with, and then they
Yeah.
just and it has an internal mic which allows you to sample stuff.
Yeah, it
and
does. Like
just walk around and be like, and just
Right. Like
record
on
anything.
Aruma, you hear like the little clicky sounds and
Yeah.
all that. That's me doing this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just doing that.
Just kind of getting some texture almost. That's an
Yep.
interesting move. Maybe I'll go home and get my mic out and just kind of
yeah, it's
just
like
scratch it a
just
little
like
bit.
yeah, like caress it a little bit.
Well, that's pretty sweet, man. Yeah, and the thing is like these aren't really that cheap either.
No, they're not.
So like when you look it up and you're like, okay, why is it that expensive?
It's
I
like-
have no idea what's
yeah,
going
it's
on.
like why are
on
so
it.
many people spending money on
Yeah.
this?
Well, first off, they're well built and they work,
Mhm.
and really, you don't have to take a computer with you.
No,
it's
you
just
don't.
this. You know,
Yeah.
it's this, and then you have your cables right here. I think that's what's so appealing about it, you know, is that you can just
You could grab and
throw
go.
this in your backpack and you're done, and you can
Yeah.
make music right there. That's what makes sense. Now, what is this guy right here for? Is that like a floppy disk?
Oh, I mean, it's a smaller one. It's an SD
Oh, okay,
card.
nice.
Yeah.
The SD. So that's basically where all the music. So you can load all the music onto the SD from a computer or samples,
Yep.
and then put it on here. That's
Pretty
nice. Yeah, linear wave sampler. That's how it works, folks. The SP404SX. They better. I hope maybe we'll get a sponsorship after that little review.
Right,
After that
something.
little review right there.
Like Roland, give us something new or something.
I mean, that's what I want. I wanted to see if I could find like a comparison between Roland SP404 sales and the rise of, you know, beat making in, you know, the mid 2000s, like
Yeah.
we've seen. You know, so at the end of the 2010s, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna be in the 2020s.
Yeah.
We can now say we live in the 20s.
Oh.
I'm stoked.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about
Yeah,
that.
I'm taking it all the way. I'm taking it back, man. I'm gonna start dressing like the Great Gatsby.
Cool.
You know,
think-
having very swanky cocktail
Yeah.
parties.
But I think Roland does like know that it's caught on like so much, because on May 4th, which is a 404 day,
Yeah.
they put out a video on YouTube that's 4 minutes and 4 seconds long.
Nice.
I was like, okay, they
that's
understand.
awesome. Yeah, so they get it, man. And you know, it's always interesting to see like this random piece of equipment that probably like even Ableton was never thought to be like a DJ software. You know, for
Yeah.
people to use to DJ with. It was always made for like a music, like a production software. But it's always cool how things take a different shape based on how we receive them. You
Right.
know? Basically, the users is like, okay, what am I gonna do with this? You know, and hip hop has decided they were gonna start using these things like crazy.
Yeah, it's like crazy. Like the first time I saw this, I saw it on Snapchat.
Okay.
Like during like 2014 or something like that.
Oh wow, 5 years ago, huh?
Yeah, like I have no idea what it was. It was from some girl's her story, and her boyfriend was just like messing with it. I was like, what is this? It looks like a disco ball, because like
Yeah.
this part like lights up with like a bunch of different colors.
It's really functional too, you know, and like it's fun to use.
Yeah,
It's
it is.
fun. The buttons, like I don't know, it's just like in the everything's nicely set up, and it kind of feels like you are like operating this almost like spaceship of music whenever you're messing with one of those. You know, that's how I like to interpret it anyways. That's what I'm doing.
Right.
So, man, we've got this new album out. It sounds great. It's fantastic. I've listened to it a couple of times. Once again, we're talking to Mosivito right here. We've been listening and talking about the new record, Funny, F-U-N-I, on Spotify. Make sure to check it out. And, man, I don't think we have any shows in the pipeline coming up. We'll have you back soon enough. Like to lay down some smooth vibes for us. But you now with this album out, are you going to take a little bit of time, or is it right to start working on new stuff, or is it like you already got a new idea?
Shoku.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food, eat,
Yeah.
all that good stuff. Nice, man. Nice. So when do you think that'll be done?
Well, I'd want to do it like before people see this video. Yeah, I mean that's the
Nice.
goal.
Okay, sweet, man. So yeah, like by the 31st. So
Yeah.
you know, you've got what, 13 days?
Yeah.
No, 14 days. You got 14 days, man. Get to
Alright,
it.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Gonna finish a new, and then you just released this one the 13th. So you're gonna release two albums in 2 weeks. That's
Yeah.
beast mode, man. That's beast
Right.
mode.
There's no telling how many there's gonna be on there though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be 3, could be 4. We'll have to wait and
Right.
see, man. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on the show, man.
Yeah,
It's
no
been
problem,
fun
man.
talking to you. It's gonna be 2020 is tomorrow. You know, technically.
Yeah.
2020 is tomorrow. So it's going to be exciting. Onward and upward, man. And, yeah, if you guys have not already gone, I've said it before, go to your phone, click your Spotify, go to Mosivito, Mosivito. Make sure you listen to the new record, Funny, F-U-N-I. It is fantastic. You know you can trust me on this, all right? So I will catch y'all next time right here on DentonRadio.com. Happy New Year, everybody. Peace.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. We want to thank our partners and sponsors who made this show possible. And now stick around for a word from all of us here at Discover Denton. Do you love live music? If so, make Denton, Texas your next vacation. Find more information at discoverdenton.com.